What's up, YouTube? It's Eddie Berrios from the Bronx. How y'all liking this snow for the people who live in the little snowy, cold areas? Where I'm at currently is not that bad. It's all right. Well, I'm here today again to address this YouTuber going by the name of Black Light. He is a black supremacist. He is an obvious racist, mostly against white people, but he doesn't call it racism. He calls it black hate. There's a difference, because I think he believes that black people can't be racist, which is, everybody knows that's ridiculous. So every time there's something going on with a black person doing something to a white person or any other race, he doesn't call it racism. He calls it black hate. Yeah. So he makes videos basically mostly about things that happen to black people. Black man shoots officer in the head defending himself. Asian man shoots black 6-year-old for trespassing. White mom attacks black kid during wrestling match. Karen tells Oprah, "Oh no, you can't afford that." But he doesn't give you the full details on these videos he's making. He just automatically takes all of it and makes it racist. In some cases, yeah, it is. But in a lot of cases, it isn't. A video I first saw from him was a video called "The Difference Between White Supremacy and Black Hate." Yeah, I mean, the guy, what he says is just, it's outdated, number one. He's very outdated. He talks about stuff that has already been mentioned by hundreds, if not thousands, of other people on YouTube already. It's very outdated, and he actually, like I said before, he thinks he's schooling us on something new. He's not. I've heard it all before. The majority of the stuff he says in that specific video, I heard when I was in junior high school, maybe even before. So I watched a couple of more of his videos. He talks about Christopher Baldner. Now, Christopher Baldner was a state trooper who was charged, not convicted yet, if he does or not. He was charged with killing an 11-year-old girl in a car chase. He actually he rammed the car flipped over, little girl died. There's a lot to the story he doesn't mention in this video. Number one, I blame the father. I blame the father of that little girl 100%. Number one, he was doing over 100 miles an hour in a 65-mile-an-hour zone. Got pulled over, was belligerent, didn't want to give the information because he felt, he's a black man. Of course, he felt he was pulled over unjust and racially profiled, even though he was driving over 100 miles an hour in a 65-mile-an-hour zone. So it's a lot of people know how that is. He didn't want to give info. He was belligerent. The officer maced him. The man took the mace from the officer, jumped back in his car, and ensued in over 140 miles an hour chase. And the officer was chasing him. And all this he was doing with his 11-year-old daughter in the car, not wearing a seatbelt. So, as you know, a lot of officers will do a pit maneuver sometimes when they're chasing a vehicle. I think that should not be done at 140 miles an hour, but this officer did, which flipped the vehicle and killed the little girl who wasn't wearing a seatbelt. I blame the father 100% in this case. Very bad judgment, and the fact that he didn't even have his daughter in the seatbelt in that car. The fact that he drove off doing 140, 150 miles an hour running from the police with his daughter in the car, that there is enough. So that's one of the videos this guy does. Then he has another video where it's actually ridiculous what he says, what he writes on this video. So basically, on this video, he's writing that a police officer sexually assaults a black woman while trying to restrain her. Police sexually assaults black female 18 years old. There was no sexual assault on that case. It was just a call was made for an 18-year-old woman who was walking in the streets, attempting to walk into traffic, and she just happened to be black. A white officer responded, subdued her, held her down, laid on top of her face down. He was laying on top of her. And that is a tactic that they use to not hurt somebody and just to hold them down. And as you can see, if you watch the video, all her friends around here are saying, girl, calm down, calm down, calm down. She didn't want to calm down. So to this guy, Black Light, it's some kind of sexual assault because he's laying flat on top of her or something like that. I don't know. This guy, Black Light, he will take the most obvious cases involving black people, and even if they're not racial, he'll make them racial. That's what he does. I mean, he obviously this man believes that, like, he literally said in a video that he thinks 100% of white people are racist. But black people are not racist. Black people just have black hate, not racism. He also did a video of a Asian man who supposedly shoots a black 6-year-old for trespassing. There's a lot of things about that case that I looked it up, and it's not as Black Light says. That one's a messed up situation. I mean, everything he does is black woman charged because Karen said she was this black woman. Yeah, a lot of these things happen maliciously, but a lot of them don't. And Black Light will take the ones that are not malicious and not racist and somehow make it racist. Only because the perpetrator is black and the officer is white. So it's automatically a racist situation. So this is the kind of thing Black Light does. He has no reality base. He's very delusional. He can't even tell the truth about what goes on, in his own community. I'm a mixed race dude. I've been on both sides. I see the bullshit on both sides. And you know what? I tell it like it is when it's bullshit on both sides. I don't just choose one side because, I'm not going to talk about my people. No, you need to talk about your own people. You need to talk about the shit that your own people do, and you have no accountability for it. So like you just give excuses to just like make it something else that it's not. And that's why these things keep happening, because there is no accountability. There's just none. So Black Light, me and him has been going at it for a couple of weeks now, and he finally blocked me. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take the heat no more. So he jumped out of the kitchen. He doesn't like truth about what's going on with black folks today. Racism, yeah, there's always racism. Black racists. For some reason, there's high crimes against Asian people right now, and the majority of the people doing it are black. That one I don't get. I don't get that one. We just got another one where the black man, 61-year-old black man, pushes a Asian woman into the train tracks, and she gets run over by a train and dies. I just don't get the attacks on Asian people from black people at this time. I brought this up to Black Light, and he had an excuse for that as well. Oh no, that's not it's don't, you can't do that. You can't have it one way, brother. It goes both ways. You know, you got to call out. You got to call out the obvious. You know, you got to call out the obvious. And he tried to tell me, well, you know, black people are killed more by white people more than ever before. And I'm thinking like, dude, because he looks like he's about my age, and he's got that statistic all wrong. I mean, even black folks in America know that the majority of black folks that die are in the hands of other black folks. I mean, this is not a racial comment. You know, people like him will take it and say, oh, that's a racist statement. No, it's not racist. It's true. It's just true. I mean, nobody kills black folks more than other black folks. That's just the truth. And guys like this will never bring that fact up because it doesn't fit into their narrative, because they want everything to just be a racial thing, even if it's not. Even if it's not a racial thing, black light will figure out how to make it a racial thing. You know, officers subduing an 18-year-old black woman who's trying to kill herself and walk into the traffic and trying to get hit by a car, and somehow black light made it a white officer sexually abuses an 18-year-old black woman. And it's like, I watched the story, I read the story, I watched the video, I'm like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Yeah, so he has malicious intent in his heart. It's obvious to me the dude is a black racist. Forget this black hate. He's racist. He's a straight out racist. And me personally, I think he's just too old for that bullshit. I mean, this dude is he looks like he's about my age. He looks like he's about my age. He looks like he's mixed with white too. I mean, if you look at his videos real clear, he looks like he's got some white boy in him. He's a yellow boy, you know, kind of yellow bone. And he's just delusional and unrealistic. And it doesn't matter what the situation is. If it involves a black person and a white cop, it has to be racial. No matter if the person is breaking the law, if the person's doing something maliciously, he somehow will find a way to flip it and make it a racial thing. So this is Eddie Berrios from the Bronx. This is for you, Black Light. Grow up, brother. Get the delusion out of your mind and be realistic. Have some accountability. Peace out.